everybody, it is Calxiyn here. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys should become patrons over on Patreon to support the channel, but you guys should subscribe. I was gonna say are subscribe, and I'm like, are subscribe?
Is that like a Jedi mind trick? You're like, and you are subscribed.
And you are subscribed.
You are subscribed.
Even if you're not, now you are. Anyway,
okay,
so
let's
we're
talk
watching
about
World Remnant Florence, so this was a paid Patreon video. So
Isn't it good how they made up the name of Florence for a geographical location and that there's not a place named Florence that's incredibly important to world history?
Anyways. So Diego asked us to do all of the World of Remnants, and we've done 2 out of 4. I think that there's only 4. We've done 2 of them.
Yes.
So we're gonna watch this one.
There was the one that was like the experiment. There was the one that was very like Targaryen.
And now
there's Florence.
Apparently has something to do with like families before the Schnees or something.
Well,
according to the
was
description.
Okay.
We're just gonna listen.
If they're called the Medicis, I'm gonna scream.
I don't think that's a color.
There are many prosperous and well-known families in the Kingdom of Atlas.
This is a man.
Not so coincidentally, they are usually in charge of a very profitable business in the kingdom as well.
This is true.
Perhaps some of the most well-known are the Schnees, with their massive dust mining industry, or the Leonettes, with their jewelry company being the top earner in Atlas.
Ooh.
Perhaps you've heard of the Sirens, with their monopoly on the fishing business off the east coast of Atlas.
No, I haven't.
But today, we're going to talk about one family in particular.
I like the
Florence family.
And all that.
If there's ever been any fishy family in the kingdom, it's
fishy
bound to be these guys. The Florence family is the proprietor of the Florentina Corporation, which builds factory equipment and industrial machines for local and intercontinental use. Since the average civilian doesn't use industrial equipment every day like they use dust, the Florentina Corporation's reputation has been far more out of the spotlight compared to the Schnee dust companies. And if you look at it, there's nothing much to slander. The FC pays its laborers well and complies with worker union standards.
Oh, that's good. So
but I'm not here to talk about its business.
Cool.
I'm here to talk about its family.
Alright.
Its current CEO, Azurin Florence, is the great-grandson and only surviving heir of the company's founder, Leo Florence. It was way before the Great War, back to when the epicenter of activity in Solitus was Mantle, not yet Atlas. The Florences were pretty big back in Mantle, almost as big as the Schnees are now in Atlas. The thing is, they didn't get there like the Schnees did. The family started out as a business for selling winter clothes and gear, but they ran a couple of side businesses out the back door, a protection racket for one. Before the wonderful advent of huntsmen and huntresses, people in Mantle were desperate for any protection from the creatures of Grimm who would pay through the nose for it. The Florences were good at fending off the Grimm, but they were also good at intimidation, particularly via property damage. And if that happens to you, apart from being vulnerable, you would be pretty unhappy, and unhappiness is what brings the Grimm. So you could say, business was pretty good.
So they are the mob.
They're basically the mob.
They are the mob.
Soon they had earned enough money to start going into politics themselves. Don't ask me how many votes they got. Either they had more money than on record, were real charmers, or the voting populace back then were just pretty dumb. In any case, they held seats in city councils, and the business grew from embezzled taxes and pork barrel funds. They moved into the machinery business and the construction business as well.
That's
and
very
then,
mob.
the events that led to the Great War happened. Mantle's decree to abandon the arts and self-expression in hopes of deterring the Grimm attacks was passed. Many people approved, but a silent majority didn't like it at all. Turns out, when you try to suppress someone's emotion, it only gets stronger. Seeing a chance for more income, the Florences established a number of, I would say, speakeasies, but they were more like circuses, really. In these contained underground establishments, people were free to express themselves as they had before. Singing, dancing, partying, gambling, games, was all there. After all, the Florences were good at protecting people from the Grimm. So what did their customers have to lose? Besides the end, of course, but the thrill of breaking the law is worth the entrance fee. Things were looking up for the Florences until the incident. You see, a few years before, they had started looking into the dust mining business.
Oh, shit.
In those days, the kings of the Dust Empire were the Borgians, and they didn't like the Florences moving in on their business. They reacted, rather violently. 12 of the Florence establishments were raided all at once, and though only one could be traced back to the Borgian family, the Florence dynasty went to war. A complicated set of events followed, some too weird to be fact but are, and some believable but are utter gossip. Grim being used as catapult ammunition, raids on Borgian business establishments, a bard working for the Florences, incapacitating Borgians with his horrible lute playing, an entire marketplace descending into chaos from a Florence versus Borgian showdown. A wedding for an arranged Borgian marriage to the Leonette Industriere crashed by Florences. Hell, the only reason they even got away with all of it without the full force of the kingdom's military being thrown on them was because the army of Mantle was all the way across the sea fighting Vale in the Great War. It was rather strange, all of it, but undeniably violent. It'll take forever to detail it all, so I'll just tell you the results. Mantle was pretty ravaged by the time it was over, which would explain why so many non-combatant people were so willing to move from Mantle to Atlas. The Borgian family was destroyed, and their dust empire left in ruins. The Florence family lost property, lives, and reputation, but at the end of the day, there were more Florences alive than there were Borgians. They retired to the one legitimate business they had left, the machinery development business. That's what they centralized the Florentina Corporation around, and all other illicit business faded away. But the stain on their family will never be wiped clean. After the war, the Schnees took over the monopoly on dust that the Borgians left behind, and the Florences would never touch the dust business again.
Also, you know, you
not
can
even
have
with a
an
90
industry
mile
that's
stick.
not controlled by a monopoly.
Skip
Like,
a few
you can have
decades,
healthy
and the only
competition by
remnant of
multiple
the once
actors.
inglorious Florence family are Azurin Florence, his wife, Filière Mirasole Florence, and their daughter Natalia. It goes to show that when it comes from rags to riches stories, you really should be taking a closer look at whose throats those rags are choking to see whose pockets the riches are coming from.
Rags. I think it would be more mafia if they were like, who's piano wire?
That was interesting. I think that this was definitely a weird one.
Oh, they're all kind of weird.
I mean,
They're all
compared to
pretty
the other
weird.
ones, this was a little weird. I want to read the comments for this though. Hello.
All of them are like.
Okay, Lovestead. They're talking about. I always like the idea of Mantle being completely abandoned and becoming part of a black market dead city after everyone moved to Atlas.
People are like, this is a super interesting world building, and I'm like, kinda? I love the little Assassin's Creed music at the end, okay.
Especially the daughter, I'm interested in seeing her with Weiss and how they both interact with each other. That's an interesting idea.
I guess that would be interesting, yeah. Her around other rich people. Joke's on you, it was Marigold.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just like with this one, it's not necessarily having the same lasting effect.
It's less precise. They're more like a bunch of shit happened. This was the end of it. It wasn't very precise.
I mean lasting effect in terms of like on the world. Like with the Astaire Project and with Lovestead, like nobody knows about it, but it's sort of like you can see how that's hidden history. Yeah. Whereas this is just sort of like, this is interesting in a different way because I think that what's always interested me is like, you'd think that Jacques would try to marry Weiss off somewhere to someone, right? And so it's sort of like, who are the other rich families? Because I'm sure everybody in Atlas, like there's a bunch of rich people in Atlas, and all of them aren't Dust, because obviously Dust is a monopoly that's had by just the Schnees. And so the question is like, who are these other rich people that Weiss has probably been forced to interact with? You know what it reminds me of? Strange comparison. Well, he was just some random douchebag. He may not be
he was a
royal anything, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, in Little Witch Academia, like Diana is sort of like the Cavendish family, and then she has her friend Andrew, who's like, I don't know what family he's from or whatever. And it's like, it's sort of like at my point in the show, because I'm not done yet, it's like, like Diana and Andrew seem like that they could like get married or something. Like they seem like the betrothed type of nonsense. And so I'm just sort of like, who, like, when it comes to Weiss and all of that, like, who is Weiss supposed to, like, you know, be with in terms of the other families? And I hope that's something that in Volume 7 we see is sort of, like, you know what I mean? Like, sort of Weiss and, like, Weiss's family has obviously already been shown, but I'm saying, like, the other families that are rich in Atlas and, like, interact, because there are probably other ones, and I think that this is sort of, like, interesting. I like the idea of the lion one, like, the jewelry sort of family and all that stuff, like, because you'd think that dust and, like, jewelry, because ideally, I guess, you want to marry off your children if you have businesses that would go together, right? Like, if you have businesses that would work together in some way, compatible, right? So, like, for example, like, this is a bad example, Kevin O'Leary or whoever from Shark Tank, like, he has a bunch of businesses that are a part of, like, his wedding, like, target thing, so he owns, like, a cupcake thing and an invitation thing, and it's also, he can, like, because he wants to be in the wedding industry, so he buys up all these other companies that go towards his wedding goal, if you want to call it that.
It's a lateral, oh god, it's not a horizontal, it's like lateral convergence, lateral monopolies, where you own a bunch of different things, like basically where you own all the businesses in a field.
Yeah, in a field, and so wedding field, right?
Yes.
And so, like, for example, with Weiss, they own all the dust, and so obviously that's weapons and whatever, but dust is also sewn into clothing, and so I wonder if you could do some sort of, like, oh, well, Weiss, I'm gonna betroth you to these jewelry, you know, to the jewelry industry people, because then we can make jewelry with dust for fighters and just for aesthetics and all that stuff. Like, oh, this is a rare, like,
a schnee dust,
a rare schnoo
schnoo.
A rare
You know what the worst part is that schnoo sounds like the name of the brand. It's like Schnoo.
It sounds like something from a WoR axe for some reason.
And it's like an umlaut over the U.
I was trying to say Schnoo, I was trying to say Schnee.
Yeah, you were saying, no, you were trying to say Schnoo, and you said Schnoo, and you did everything right, Cal.
Anyway, we're gonna go.
Schnoo.
So this was fun, and we will see you guys later. Bye! I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I'm just gonna take a moment here to thank our patrons over on Patreon and our Discord server moderators who are a part of our community. CalPals at the $2 tier get exclusive access to our CalPals community Discord server, exclusive access to our video scripts, exclusive access to schedules, updates, polls, the live podcast, and the chat to ask questions for our monthly Q&A. They also get the name feature at the end of every video. There's also a special reward. At the beginning of every month, CalPals will be able to vote for me to watch the first episode of whatever anime or cartoon that they want. This encourages us to watch some cool new anime that you guys may want us to see, or maybe you just want us to watch like the first episode of some crazy like quirky anime where we never like react to the entire series, but you guys are just like, wow, this is like so weird and so crazy, I just want to see them react to the first episode. The Caterpillars at the $5 tier have access to all previous rewards, and they also have access to our videos a week in advance, early access, so that's a week early before they are released onto YouTube. And there's also a special reward. Patrons at this tier will get access to an exclusive reaction series that'll be posted for patrons and patrons only. It will not be public to YouTube until after it's finished and another Patreon exclusive series has started. So basically, the patrons get their own anime reaction series of whatever anime that they vote for, and it's just for them. It won't be on YouTube, so it's totally for patrons and to the benefit of all of the wonderful patrons who support us at this tier. The Cal Peons have access to all previous rewards, exclusive access to our videos as soon as they're ready, and so in the past this has been, say, 14 days, so 2 weeks in advance, sometimes 30 days in advance, so like a month early, sometimes they've been 60 days in advance, so imagine getting to watch the videos on our channel basically 2 months before anyone else, because it does happen depending on how much Hunter and I pre-record in advance. They also have the ability to invite one of their friends into the Discord server without them needing to pledge on Patreon, so if you have a friend that loves the cartoons that we react to, or the anime we react to, or, the video games, cartoons, and anime we do discussion videos on, you can bring them as a part of our community without them having to need to pledge. But they also get a special reward, and this is 3 video tickets. So these can be used to request videos. 1 ticket equals 10 minutes, so if you guys have seen, we've done a lot of shipping video requests, we've done a lot of reaction requests that say pay Patreon video in the brackets, and so those are videos that patrons have used their tickets on to get us to do for them. The Calzones have access to the Calzone, which is a special reward for this tier that I'll explain in a moment, but they get access to all previous rewards. They get 6 video tickets, which would be long enough for, say, 2 anime episode reactions, or 6 10-minute videos, so 6 shipping videos, for example, 6 discussion videos if they're all 10 minutes long, and they also have the ability to invite 2 of their friends into the Discord server without them needing to pledge on Patreon. And they will also get access to the VIP chat since they are a VIP. And so that is where the Calzone comes in. The Calzone is our VIP text chat on Discord. We also do a monthly VIP-only voice call. Let's just take a small break here to thank the moderators on my Discord server. So they obviously help out a lot with moderating and setting up events for the community and just being, you know, generally good parts of the community to have around. So I just wanted to include this little bit in between all the patrons to just sort of thank them for their work, thank them for helping out in my community, and all that sort of stuff. The Caltalists have access to all previous rewards, 15 video tickets, the ability to add me as a friend on Discord so I can go ahead and make a private group chat with them so they have direct private access to us, the ability to invite 3 of their friends onto the Discord server without them needing to pledge on Patreon. Those friends will also get access to the VIP chat as well, and their special reward is auto-hosting their live streams on my Twitch and being able to promote their videos in the Discord server. The Catastrophes have access to all previous rewards, 30 video tickets, access to my private Instagram, Snapchat, and a private group with just Hunter and I. They have the ability to invite 5 of their friends into the Discord server without them needing to pledge over on Patreon, and those friends will also get access to the VIP chat since at the $100 tier you are of course a VIP. For the special reward, we would make videos and collaborate together, so we could write the script together, record the lines together, edit and post the video on my channel. They would be sort of credited and all of their links would be posted in the description and all of that normal stuff that you would expect from a collaboration like this. But obviously it is a very special project because it would be, you know, from a patron, it would be sort of a community project, and that's why it's one of my favorite special rewards. So again, one big thank you to all the patrons over on Patreon who help keep the channel alive. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.